Hey, maybe you guys could just do a show today. What do you think? Hi, it's Ken. How is everybody doing? When I say everybody, I mean Roger and John and Chuck and Nate. I know your name now, Nate, and Bill and Donna and other people. Hank, good to see you, Hank. See, I want to see what that says, but I can't right now because I have a thing I got to do. Hold on, let me readjust that. Is that too bright? That might be a little bit better. Or it might be a little bit worse. I only moved it by one thing, so, it can't be. Hello, Andrew. Right. Have I started the recording? I have started the recording. The thing is live. Let's just go ahead and dive in. I feel like, well, before we start, we'll do that later or not. I don't know. I'm about as together today as I have been all week long. So there we go. Stand by, please. Let's all not go shopping and a new set of labels to ignore. It is Thursday, the 5th of November, 2020, and this is macOS Can Live. I am the lung emoji. New emoji today. It's new emoji day. And here's how discombobulated I am. I've actually got iOS 14.2 on my phone, which has all the new emoji, and I have yet to send anybody lungs. I've been so looking forward to it. Second half of today's show. Yeah, okay, look, I'm a tiny bit pessimistic today. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to be, but I'm a tiny bit pessimistic. Apple came out with their guidelines for the new privacy information labels that they're going to have to put on apps, or the developers are going to have to put on apps. They came out with guidance. They came out with a date. We will talk about all of that in the second half of the show. Starting off, though, there was so much stuff to choose from, and I feel there are new updates, like I mentioned, although I haven't really had a chance to play with a lot of those, so I don't feel like I can talk about that a lot today. There is a rumor that Apple has ordered 2.5 million Silicon Macs for the launch of the Apple Silicon Macs, and we might touch on that a little bit later. I don't know how I feel about the label, or the rumor rather, because it's from Nikkei, which is sometimes right and sometimes not. Feels to me like more often not than right. So could have talked about that. Maybe we'll touch on that tomorrow. I don't know. Couldn't help it though. Today I wanted to touch on retail heading into the holidays. And it's because of a few different things that just sort of bring up how different retail is going to be this year. And that's kind of a drag because that's kind of a drag. I love going out Christmas shopping. I never go out on Black Friday. I do occasionally order on Black Friday or Cyber Monday if there's a particularly good deal. But I don't do the whole, like, I used to know people who made their plan to meet at 2 in the morning so they could be, there for the doorbuster sale at 3 in the morning the day after Thanksgiving, which is, what we used to call Black Friday. And now Black Friday has become like a season. Yes, there might be a bit of, old man shaking his fist and all that stuff on today's show. The thing that got me thinking about this today is Best Buy and Walmart have said that they're not going to do day one releases of consoles, because there are two new consoles coming out in the next week, I believe. The Xbox Series comes out on the 10th of November, and the PS5, I'm sorry, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S come out on the 10th of November, and the PS5 comes out on the 12th of November. Sony announced earlier today that they're only going to have online sales, at least at launch. You're not going to be able to go anywhere and get it. Now, I don't know if it's not going to be able to go anywhere and get it, or you won't be able to go to whatever stores they have. But this is the kind of thing that people would have lined up for. And Sony's saying that we're not going to do it. Now, there are plenty of reasons that Sony might not want to do that. The one that I love most, the one that I love the best, the one that I hope it is that they don't want people lining up in the time of COVID-19. They don't want people jammed up together in lines in the time of COVID-19. They don't want people jamming into stores in the time of COVID-19. And that could all absolutely be true. It is also possible that they don't have enough to meet demand because all the same supply issues that Apple has been hit with and everybody else has been hit with, you got to figure Sony and Microsoft have been hit with as well in making their consoles. And so then you go to Walmart and Best Buy. Well, don't go to Walmart and Best Buy for these because they're not doing it. Walmart has said that they're not going to do a day of release on either of those things. They have not committed to the whole season. Best Buy has committed to the whole season. They're saying, right, we're not going to have these in stores. So order them online. You can pick them up at stores if you happen to secure an order, but you can't come in and just grab one. Now, these are gonna be hot holiday gifts anyway. Chances are you weren't gonna be able to just come in and grab one, even if they said it was okay. The Engadget piece that I read doesn't have Walmart or Best Buy saying why. According to Engadget, the absence of in-store availability is likely to make it near impossible for some people to get a new console this year. At the same time, it is an understandable decision with states across the US going through second COVID-19 waves. Both Best Buy and Walmart likely want to avoid a situation in which people camp outside their stores. So they haven't said why, it doesn't seem, or at least I haven't seen where they've said why. They just said, we're not gonna. From a PR standpoint, it is a great idea to make it seem as if you're doing it to protect public health. And maybe they are doing it to protect public health. I'm not saying they're not. It's also possible they're not going to be able to get enough of them. I don't know. That sort of goes into just like how weird this whole holiday shopping season is going to be, which then trails out to how weird this holiday season is going to be. Um, we've talked on macOS Ken anyway. I don't remember if we've talked much about it here because it's all just become one giant conversation now. France has 7 stores that have converted to Express. They're not doing the regular walk in, browse, anything. I don't think any Apple store is actually doing the regular walk in, browse anything thing at this point. Honestly, don't know about China. Last time I saw pictures from there, though, they were still limiting the number of people. They had the hand sanitizing. You had to wear a mask, but you have to wear a mask everywhere. Who knows for how long? England, I guess, is converting all of their 33 stores, 33 of their 38 UK stores. It's numbers like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it's 30 plus stores in England, all of which are being converted into sort of the express stores where you can do I can't remember what the terminology is. It's like, I don't know, click and pick up or something. Basically, you can go online, you can place an order, you can go to a store and pick it up at one of those front counters, similar to the Apple Express stores that we've talked about quite a bit. Interestingly, here in the States, you can still make Genius Bar appointments at those express stores. In the UK, you're not going to be able to. That seems opposite to me. I would think actually that in the UK, you would be able, if you're going to argue that these are essential shops, that these are essential services, it seems to me that you would, at the very least, need to also offer repair, not just offer a chance to buy. Now, you can make the essential case that I might need a new phone for work. I might need a new Mac for work. I might need a new case for my phone for work. It's kind of weird to me that they can't do, that they're not going to be doing the Genius Bar appointments, especially in a country that is locking down in theory, although Nate, aka Mac Interactive, when we were after the show yesterday and having the chat with everybody live in the chat room, I said something about the UK or England, excuse me, going into lockdown. And Nate said mockdown, which I thought was funny. But I asked him to tell me more about that. I asked him if he would send me an email, and he did. He says the lockdown in the UK isn't a real lockdown, in my opinion, as the schools, colleges, and universities are open. Well, then just go to the pub. What? What? I know we have this myth that kids can't catch this, but do you know who's not going to university? Kids. Those are adults. Those are adults that are then going to go home for Christmas, home after class. I don't understand. I mean, at that point, aren't you just hurting your economy? And look, whether you agree or disagree, I personally think a lockdown is probably a great idea for any, country that can get itself together to do that. That seems like it's going to be the only real way to stop a spread. You can't make exception. I mean, you can for the grocery store and stuff like that, but the grocery store has to go back to being as good about sanitizing as they were in April, because I don't feel like they are, honestly, at this point. And everybody has to be really careful when they go out and do that. Distance learning is a thing that a lot of places have glommed to. And I know it's not as good for kids, and I know it's not as easy. And teaching is never easy. Don't misunderstand. I know there are reasons that it makes it incredibly difficult. But to say we're locking down, except for these thousands of people that we're going to let go someplace and congregate and then go back home, you're not locking down. So I'm with you, Nate. I'm not with you because, we have to stay at least 6 feet apart. Got a continent and an ocean. I think we're good. Nate's also been staying out of pubs and shops and stuff since before the first lockdown on the 13th of March, he says, because they want to be safe and didn't want to wait for the government to act. A lot of that going around. Now, I will say in all of this, and I can't remember if I mentioned this before. I know this is in my notes, though, and if I said it before, I'm sorry. I worry a bit about the digital divide, and I worry a bit about people who uh, trade in cash rather than credit cards or debit cards, things like that. At the same time, I talked about Black Friday earlier. I'm really put off by the huge emphasis on Black Friday this year. It's become a bit like Prime Day. And I know I've heard debates on, is Black Friday the day that, retail goes, shifts into the black? Because that was sort of the idea initially, that retail operated at a loss for most of the year. And where they turned profitable was the day after Thanksgiving, was Black Friday, when everybody went out and did all their Christmas shopping. That was sort of the accepted idea of it. And I've had a lot of people, years since go, well, actually, and explain to you, when that really happens and what the busiest shopping day is and all that stuff. And it's fine. I've been kind of bothered by the emphasis on Black Friday as we've gone. But middle of October, I started seeing stories about Black Friday deals. Stories, not ads. I've been getting those in my email as well. But middle of October, I started seeing stories about Black Friday deals. Now, on the one hand, retail has been beaten to a pulp this year because of COVID-19, right? And if there is any truth to the idea that they're going to make most of their money towards the end of the year, you're not seeing that right now. Right now, you're flying in a cloud bank, hoping that when the clouds part, you're going to see the, runway. So I understand putting the emphasis on the deals. It's also kind of a bummer because if you like the holidays, it's less about that and more about the other. Like I say, it feels like Prime Day. So this was fun. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Part of me wants to go see one of these Apple Express stores. I don't think mine have actually been physically converted to Express. And of course, the other part of me doesn't want to go see them because the whole point of the Express stores is don't just be milling about an Apple store, right? Or don't just be hanging out near one or whatever. Anyway, that's retail around COVID-19. Fun, right? Hey, coming up in just a second, we'll talk about some privacy moves that Apple is making in the App Store, or privacy moves that Apple is making developers make in the App Store. Really quickly, though, I want to remind you about some other stuff that I do. Let's talk about In a Few Minutes, because that's fun. That's actually been kind of a difficult one to program for the past couple of months because Apple keeps doing all of these one more thing events or these high speed events or these time flies events. And so I don't want to spend a whole week with somebody, and then that's happening. So I've actually kind of been screwing up that show. I think I'm doing a great job pitching it though. So it's been close to a year now of short conversations with different people. Some are writers, some are podcasters, just different people, friends of mine sometimes. Well, they're all friends of mine, but people, sometimes active in the Mac community or the Apple community. It'd be great if you checked it out. Comes out Monday through Friday normally, although a couple of days were lost this week. Peter Cohen, by the way, joining us this week. His knowledge of Mac history or Apple history um, dwarfs mine. So fun shows. I hope you'll check them out in a few minutes. You can find those wherever you find podcasts. And I'm also posting the audio of them here on YouTube. So there's no video. You don't get to see how much Peter and I look alike now, but you do get to hear how much we don't sound alike. So find it where you find podcasts or on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Ken Ray. Oh, and I will remind anybody who's listening to the audio podcast of this, we actually get together to do macOS Ken Live Monday through Friday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, other times, other places. There's a great group of people, great and I think growing group of people who actually hang out during the show and chat in the chat room. And then I pop into the chat room after, and we all, hang out for a few. So if you'd like to join us someday, we'd love to have you. YouTube.com/Ken Ray. Tell your friends. Right. Here's another thing that I will fully confess. The reason I'm interested in this is because of the work that I do on the show, The Checklist. The Checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac, is a security and privacy focused show dealing with Apple technology or, ancillary technology as well. Like we've done some Internet of Things shows and we've talked about VPNs and stuff like that. But if Apple makes a big privacy move, well, we're definitely going to be talking about that. So this will definitely be something that we'll be talking about in the next week or two, I feel certain. Because Apple has finally laid out the details of what it is it wants from developers as far as the privacy labels. I don't know if you remember, but at WWDC, I want to say that Apple likened it to the labels like on a box of cereal or any nutrition labels that you saw. What they want is, instead of you downloading an app and having to read 28 pages of stuff that you're never going to read. And I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself now. You're never going to read it. You're going to save it. You're going to say that you read it. You're going to fully intend to go back and read it, and you're not going to. Partly because it's 28 pages when all you want to do is play that car crash game or, take those blemishes off your face or whatever you downloaded the app for. And the other reason is because it's all legalese. It's not spelled out clearly what's happening. It's page after page after page of what very quickly becomes gobbledygook. And so what Apple has done is they've said, right, you want to be in the App Store, that's great. We'd love to have your apps in the App Store, but you have to post something that's easy to understand about the information that your app is going to be asking for, taking, how it's going to be using it, and all that stuff. According to Apple, the information they offer has to answer some privacy questions. You need to identify all the data that you or third-party partners collect, unless the data meets all the criteria for optional disclosure listed below. Your app's privacy practices should follow the App Store review guidelines and all applicable laws. And you're responsible for keeping your responses accurate and up to date. If your practices change, update your responses in App Store Connect. You can update or, answer your stuff at any time and all that. I am of three minds. The most, what's the best way to put it? The one that the most generous, I guess, is this really is Apple looking to protect our privacy. I love that idea. The most pessimistic says this is Apple covering its backside. And I don't want to let that part win, but I'm kind of there, because how many apps are there in the App Store now? Is it 2 million? I think. I know Apple has a lot going for it in machine learning. Here, I'll come to this in a roundabout way. A couple of weeks ago, a musician died. I can't remember now who it was. Oh, Eddie Van Halen. A couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Eddie Van Halen died. And right at the very front of macOS Ken, I played 7 seconds, I think, from Hot for Teacher, where he just absolutely, wails on the guitar. And came to YouTube the next day, and it said that video had been marked, not for takedown. It was fine. They would leave it up, but it could never be part of my monetization, which is fine because it's one video. It was 7 minutes or maybe 11 minutes or something like that. And I'm not banking on YouTube for monetization right now anyway. My point is, I put that up, and some machine learning something or other somewhere, some AI somewhere heard 7 seconds of Hot for Teacher and said, right, he's using copyrighted material. He can't use this. Well, we'll go ahead and let him use it, but we're never going to let him make any money off of this one particular video. I say all of that to say, I suppose it is possible that Apple has some idea of who's actually going to have submitted these things and who hasn't. But if you have an app in the App Store, you're supposed to have these privacy guidelines in, or the privacy disclosures in, by the 8th of December. What happens on the 9th of December? At this point, is Apple just saying, well, we told them they had to have it in, right? Or is Apple actually going to go and start culling the day after that happens? The other thing that I wonder, since all of this is self-reported, if, Dice Roll 5000 app, and I just made that app up, although I think we should make that, you and me will make amends. If the Dice Roll 5000 app says we're not sharing your information, and then we find out that it is sharing your information, obviously this gives Apple a clear path to, kicking them out of the App Store or suspending their activity in the App Store until they fix that. But how much checking is Apple actually doing on whether or not, what they're saying is actually true? I hate to sound pessimistic, as I say, but I wonder. The other thing that I worry about is that we're just going to ignore these the same way we ignore the TOS terms of service, not the original series. Never, never ignore the original series. How long before we just look at it and go, oh, okay, and click that, right? Because we want that face aging app. Remember, was it last summer? 2018, I think, 2019, the app where you could put a picture of yourself in and it would make you look really old. I'm guessing that was really popular with teenagers because I don't know anybody my age who thought, oh, that sounds like fun. But they would put you put your picture in and it would age you. And then after everybody had it for like 4 days, all of a sudden there were all these stories that were like, hey, by the way, these pictures are being sent to a server in Russia. Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, how much checking can Apple do? Are they relying a lot on self-reporting and then, we'll kick you out if there's trouble? It's a thing I worry about, but it's a thing I'm sure we'll be talking about for weeks and weeks to come. And, we'll have some people look into it and maybe we'll talk about it on the checklist as well. Did I mention the lung emoji? See, that's what I should have done. I shouldn't have even prepared a show. What I should have done was just gone through all the emoji and talked to you about how great all the new emoji are. Oh, look at that. There's a stack of wood. There's a real looking eyeball. There's a real looking set of lungs. That might have been fun. Like a read along storybook, except me just telling you about what I'm looking at on my phone. If you are here in the chat room, please stay in the chat room. We'll talk about what just happened. If you're not here live in the chat room, like I said, we get together live Monday through Friday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, other times, other places. And it would be wonderful if you'd join us live sometime. Also check out macOS Ken. Also check out the checklist. Also check out In a Few Minutes. Like I say, if you're in the chat room, stay in the chat room, please. I will be right there. Everybody else, talk to you soon. He's so pessimistic. Why is he so pessimistic? I'm the he's talking about, by the way. Hang on, let me stop my recording, and then I'll come say hi to you guys. Come say hi. In my head, I'm walking from one area to another while I do that, when in fact, I'm just enjoying my tasty beverage right here in front of you. I think I said hi to everybody earlier. Now let me put on my glasses and see what everybody said as I sip my coffee, as opposed to just threatening to. Hey, Eugene's here. I don't know Eugene. Richard is also here. I don't know Richard. Good to see you both. Oh, thanks, Nate. Well, you did a good job. Sorry, Nate says, Mac Interactive says that I am expressing his frustration perfectly. Your frustration's mine, dude. Not just, obviously not for the UK, but for anybody who does, Nobody's going to be sitting on Santa's lap at the mall this year, right? And if anybody is, they shouldn't be. That's the thing. On the one hand, you're sad, and not you. on the one hand, you're sad and you're like, oh, I want everything to be the way it was. And then you see people, and it's like, it's like that kid from The Sixth Sense. I see dead people. It is a happy afternoon for you, huh? Chuck says, good evening. We need to come up with a name for this group. Oh, okay. That's what you guys were talking about earlier. No, not Ken's Cabal. Eh, I prefer Coven, although I'm not a witch. Bill says, you guys keep starting earlier. That's true, Bill. I actually wonder if people just stay. macOS Ken lifers. Interesting. It's like Apple for life, but macOS Ken for life. How about the Mosketeers? MOSK, macOS Ken, Mosketeers. You can be the Mosketeers. And that would actually help me figure out what I should do every day because, the Mickey Mouse Club had different themes every day, right? We'll get Spin and Marty imitators on here. It'll be great. Don't be Mosketeers, by the way. Or be what you want to be. Do what you want to do. Why can't we be friends? Oh, yeah, Mac Interactive actually put up a picture of the lungs. The problem is I haven't updated. I don't think that's interesting. Are the new emoji going to show up in Catalina, or will they wait for Big Sur for that? Because I know there was a Catalina update today, but I'm given to understand it's just security and stabs and perfs. Are there any changes outside of emoji? David, there are also 8 new wallpapers. I know about that. Yeah, there's a whole list of fixes, and they've got the new Shazam thing that you can put in the control center, which I have done, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. It's kind of weird though, because you can also add the Shazam thing on your, what am I looking for? What is that thing? You know what I'm talking about. That's green. That's green. The one on the, the far end. So yeah, they've added it to Control Center now as well. Hopefully my home app will now work. They did update the HomePod stuff today. And I must have some privacy setting on that I don't know about, because I was really excited and I finally did the thing, said, whatever you're supposed to say to Siri, like, tell me my schedule for today, or tell me my update for today, or something like that. And it said, yeah, you have to continue on your iPhone. And so then it started playing all the stuff at me on my iPhone, which kind of defeats the purpose of the HomePod. I mean, I wanted it to just, tell me, not tell my phone. Who am I today? Eugene? You're Eugene today. You're not a locust. Oh, okay, that was you. Lone Locust Developer, Eugene Glover, everybody. Was it Lone Locust Developer? Who will you be tomorrow, Eugene? That's the real question. Hey, cool. John says in a few minutes is in his podcast feed. Excellent. Hey, Webb's here. I missed you earlier, Webb. How's it going? I meant to talk about that too with the UK thing. Sorry, Matthew, you just reminded me. You said my iPhone 11 Pro trade-in was accepted with no issues, and the account was credited today by Sprint. I'm really surprised at this because I'm pretty sure that I traded in my last iPhone through the mail. And I know that's a thing we can do here. Apparently, though, if you're doing the iPhone upgrade program in the UK, that is in-store only. So right now, the iPhone upgrade program is suspended because even though UK stores closed today and are opening again tomorrow with sort of their express thing, those are not going to be they're not going to be able to do the iPhone upgrade program, which is only a lot of money and upset customers. I wonder again though if that helps them manage inventory. If you can say, "Gosh, sorry, we're just not set up to do that," then they still have a bunch of iPhone 12s, 12 Pro, 12 Mini, 12 Pro Max that they can sell and not have to worry about the people that they ought to be trading them to. I don't know. Oh my God, Chuck, you're still trying to name the thing. Oh, I got your comment about that, Laura. Yeah, I think Peter said Peter's knowledge is great. He, like all of us, I think sometimes misses on a detail or two because, like, I know I've weirdly been able to correct him on a year one time. I think he said that the move to PowerPC came with Mac OS 8, and Laura is actually saying that it was 7.1.2 was the first PowerPC based OS. So, or the one that could take that. So, do. Yeah, I don't do the upgrade program either, but I would imagine there are a lot of people who are in it who are going to be bummed now. Actually, I need to check with a friend of mine. Somebody on Twitter said earlier today that they thought this whole time they were in the upgrade program, and it turns out they weren't. I'm curious how that happened, but I'll try to find out. Oh, that's a good question, Webb. Webb wants to know if anybody is ordering iPhone 12 Pro Max or an iPhone Mini, iPhone 12 Mini. I hate the naming conventions on those. If anybody is, I'd love to hear why. info@macosken.com. I will tell you, Webb, I think I've already mentioned it. I'm planning on ordering a HomePod Mini just because there aren't enough things listening to me around the house, apparently. No, I want one in another room. What time are they going? Is it 5 a.m. on the West Coast, John? And 8 a.m. on the East Coast? Is that right? I'll find out before tomorrow's Mac OS Ken. Stereo pair of HomePod Minis. See, I might do that eventually. I'm just going to go with the one for now. Really, it's more about establishing more of the ecosystem because I've got the one in the bedroom. Like I say, I want one in another part of the house for no reason. I think there's a halfway decent chance that one of the biggest reasons, and this is a horrible thing to confess, especially after everything I was just saying about the cross commercialism of shopping at the holidays. I honestly think one of the reasons I'm buying a HomePod Mini is because I want to get one of the new Apple things, and it's $99, and I can look at $99, and it's not like $99 is nothing. It's far from that, but it is a justifiable expense to me because first of all, there is nothing to play music in the downstairs part of the house. And the other thing is because I'm curious about, the ecosystem and all that stuff. And I think there's like a 10% part of me that's just like, plus people are getting new watches and phones and iPads and I want because I'm 5. I'm a 5-year-old with $99 to blow on a speaker. There you go. Web Standard Time. I like that. Intercom, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true too. See, there's the real reason I need it. I don't think I wanna tell anybody I've turned intercom on though, and then I'll just make scary noises. That would've been great for Halloween, but there will always be other Halloweens, theoretically. Alright, you guys are thank you. Thank you for being here. This is so much fun. I will say, since I started doing macOS Ken, live in the afternoon, that's sort of become the highlight of my day. Some days it's a little nerve-wracking because I'm not 100% certain what I'm talking about as much as 10 minutes before the show starts. Um, but this has become a highlight of my day, and a large part of it is talking to you guys, afterwards or, yeah, well, afterwards. I wanna find a way to make that during, but we've talked about that before, and we will continue to until I do. Thanks, everybody. I really, really appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you soon.